Welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. As we get started, we wanted to draw your attention to the Q&A feature that we will be using to post important links. You can also use the Q&A feature throughout the presentation to ask questions. Microsoft Teams may be a new platform for some people. To help utilize the features, we have posted a document outlining attending a town hall. In this document, you will find instructions to enable closed captioning and translated captions. To enable captioning on your device, click the CC button on the top right-hand side of your screen. We know and appreciate that evenings are precious times for families, so thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend. As the TVDSB Pathways team, we are pleased to bring you this session to help you and your student prepare for the very important transition to high school. I would now like to introduce you to the Pathways team supporting us tonight. We have Christine Giannakopoulos, Superintendent of Student Achievement, Leanne Cribbs, System Principal, who will help monitor our Q&A this evening, Fiona Hurley, Rob Gillespie, who is my co-host this evening, and I'm Jessica Dowsett. We are all thrilled to be here with you. We would also like to send out a special thanks to our TVDSB IT team who is working behind the scenes to help us make this virtual session possible. On the screen, you will see our agenda this evening. We will be sharing general information regarding transitions from grade 8 to grade 9, such as what happens when, a timeline to grade 9 registration. What do students need to graduate high school? What does the course selection process look like? How do parents and caregivers help students with the next steps after registration? Also, we will be discussing resources and supports throughout the presentation. Furthermore, we will be outlining how you can find more information about your local high school. As mentioned, following the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. Early next week, a recording of this presentation will be posted on the grade 7-8 Pathways webpage with the link that we posted in our Q&A. Additionally, you will also find a PDF of the slideshow to access all the links shared this evening. You may also notice on various slides throughout the presentation QR codes, which you can scan to access resources and follow along during the presentation. A very important support in TVDSB elementary schools are the Elementary Guidance Leads, or EGLs. In order to provide a wraparound approach for students, TVDSB created the Elementary Guidance Lead position to coordinate and enhance student successful transition to high school. Elementary Guidance Leads work closely with all grade 8 students, parents and caregivers, classroom teachers, learning support teachers, multilingual language teachers, administration, and secondary staff to provide a support system for course selection and registration for high school. Please feel free to connect with your student's elementary guidance lead for any support you or your student may need for this important transition. In addition, Thames Valley has created a grade 8 transition guide to high school to help students understand how to plan for next year. For current TVDSB students, guides are on their way home if you haven't received one already. This guide will show you a timeline of what to expect in the coming months, as well as provide information on courses and supports available for you and your student. Don't have a copy? Don't worry. This guide is also posted on the grade 7 and 8 webpage, or you can scan the QR code on the screen now to access the guide. I'll give you just a few seconds to scan that code or click the link to access the guide. This will be an important document as we move forward through this presentation.
On the second page of the Transitions Guide, you will notice a timeline to help you explore all the stages of the transition to high school. As you can see on this timeline, the Elementary Guidance Lead has been supporting your student since the beginning of this school year. The yellow section highlights fall learning for grade 8s. Students have learned how to log on to their My Blueprint account and have begun creating their individual pathway plan. For some of you who may not be familiar with My Blueprint, It is an online tool used by all TVDSB students, grades 7 to 12. Students, parents, and caregivers can use it to investigate and research educational options for all pathways: apprenticeship, workplace, college, and university. Develop individual pathway plans, which helps them discover more about their learning styles and set goals, and complete course selection. In the orange section, October to December, students learn more about course selections and the high school registration process. Please note that high school open houses will be happening from November to January. We will discuss this information in more detail shortly. In the red section, January, course selections are available in My Blueprint, and the formal process of registration begins. Once course selection is complete in February, your student will have additional transition activities in the spring and summer to help prepare for September 2024. There are so many program and course options in our TVDSB schools. Emphasis technology schools, specialist high skills majors and Ontario Youth Apprenticeship programs, art, music and drama programming, opportunities in robotics and aviation, adventures in the realm of STEM, and many more. TVDSB has a variety of specialized programs with many starting after grade 9. The best way to find out about all of the programming that your TVDSB high school has to offer is by attending grade 8 family nights at the schools you are interested in. Then, looking through the school websites for the specific programs that meet your interests. Grade 8 family nights will be happening at TVDSB high schools from November through January. These nights are important opportunities to ask questions and also to discover programs you may not have realized existed in Thames Valley. These dates are posted on our grade 7-8 website, or you can reach out to your school's elementary guidance lead and/or the secondary school websites for more information. Secondary school boundaries for the 2024-25 school year have not changed. Every grade 8 student has an assigned secondary school based on their address. This is the high school you should attend based on your address at the time of registration. Alternatively, you may be interested in specialized programming at another school in the areas of French immersion or technology. Your elementary guidance lead will assist students and caregivers in understanding what processes need to be followed if you want to register at an out-of-area school. If you would like to review which school is your student's home school, please use the QR code provided on the slide to connect, or you can go to Find My Local School for that information. As mentioned in previous slides, here is a compiled list of all high school open houses in the board. You can access the list at the link posted in the chat, or again, using the QR code on the screen. And I apologize, the link will be posted in the Q&A. Additionally, high schools create their own grade 9 webpage to display all available opportunities for students. The TVDSB grade 7 to 8 website will link users to these grade 9 websites, so you can find the programs you're most interested in. After using the Find My School tool to discover attendance options, students and caregivers are welcome to attend any and all sessions that may be of interest to their student.
What do students need to graduate and obtain their Ontario Secondary School Diploma? On the screen, you will see 4 overall requirements. First requirement is 30 credits, 18 compulsory and 12 electives. The second is 40 hours of community involvement. Did you know that your student can start to earn community involvement hours starting this summer between grade 8 and grade 9? Students are encouraged to complete the 40 hours of volunteering by the end of grade 10. To help with this, we have created a new community involvement form that includes steps to completing community involvement hours and also addresses which activities are eligible and ineligible. Parents and guardians can also submit community service hours online through the parent portal. There is a hard copy of this form in the Grade 8 Transition Guide Coming Home. Additionally, you may access this information online at the link that will be posted in the Q&A. The QR code on the screen will also take you to TVDSB's graduation requirements and community hours page. The third requirement is the literacy requirement. In order to graduate, students must be successful on the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, offered in grade 10 and 11, or pass the Ontario Literacy course. In grade 10, students will receive additional information and supports for this graduation requirement. And finally, students are required to complete 2 online credits. However, there is an opt-out process if parents do not wish this to be a graduation requirement, and this can be done once a student is at high school. There are other options for recognition upon the completion of high school. Please reach out to your high school guidance department for more information. Ontario high schools began offering D-Stream courses in grade 9 of 2021 in order to provide alignment between the grade 8 and grade 9 curriculum in core subject areas. D-streaming also allows students to build strong academic foundations before choosing pathways, such as apprenticeship, university, college, or the workplace. Thames Valley believes that students should have every opportunity to explore interests and expand personal understandings while building a strong academic foundation. To that end, the selection of academic courses is promoted for students entering grade 10 in order to build on the foundational skills established in grade 9 and ensure students have as many options as possible in grade 11 and beyond. So, what courses do students take in grade 9? Students will select courses in the following areas that you can see on the screen: English, math, science, French, geography, physical education, and additional 2 electives. The elective courses can be in a variety of areas based on student interest and will vary based on the facilities and expertise offered by the individual schools. Some common grade 9 electives are art, drama, dance, music, business studies, family studies, technology, or reaching ahead to other areas like computer studies. If you have any specific questions or concerns about the grade 9 courses for your student, please reach out to your elementary guidance lead. On the screen, this graphic depicts how each subject is identified by common course codes designated by the Ministry of Education. Let's learn how to decode course codes. Every course has 6 characters. The first 3 characters identify the subject. The first letter identifies the department, such as A for arts or T for technology. The second and third letters differentiate between specific courses in departments. So as an example, ADA would be an arts course in drama, whereas AVI would be arts, visual arts. The fourth character indicates the grade. So 1 is for grade 9, 2 is for grade 10, and so on. And finally, the 5th character indicates the course type. So O is for open, and W is for de-streamed. You can refer to this guide when reviewing your students' course selection in My Blueprint. Additionally, you will notice that the example provided on the screen is MTH1W1, which is the grade 9 de-streamed math course.
TVDSB uses a program called My Blueprint to help students create their individual pathway plan, which includes the process of selecting courses for the next school year. Please note, course selection will not open in My Blueprint for grade 8 students until January 2024. The elementary guidance leads at your elementary school will help with this process. In collaboration with My Blueprint, TVDSB has created a step-by-step guide and how-to videos to support parents, guardians, and caregivers through the course selection process. You can access the webpage through the QR code on the screen or the web link, as well as in the Q&A. We will go through some of this process this evening, but this webpage will be a great resource to refer back to during the course selection process starting in January. Here are the general steps for course selection and the parent-guardian approval process. Students select their grade 9 courses in My Blueprint with the support of their elementary guidance leads and/or the learning support team. Students are able to make a plan for different schools, though they are only able to submit one plan for the school they will attend in the fall. Parents and guardians can only approve one course selection plan for one secondary school. And by doing so, they have confirmed that their student will be attending that school. Parents and guardians will receive an email requesting approval of their student's course selection plan. If you do not use email, your student's elementary guidance lead will reach out to you for approval in another way. Following your approval, your elementary school staff will begin the formal process of registering your student at the secondary school. For students who are not currently enrolled with TVDSB, the process will look a bit different, though we are very excited that you are considering TVDSB for your high school experience. First, we recommend that families attend the local high school's grade 8 family night that will be happening between November and January. High schools will provide access to hard copies of registration forms and digital methods to register for high school. You can also begin the registration process using the QR code on the screen. High schools will use methods other than My Blueprint to complete the course selection process in these circumstances. Please reach out to your local high school for specifics on out-of-board registration.
Once course selection is complete, what are the next steps? There are several ways to stay informed. Primarily, the board will make use of the parent portal and school messenger. On the back of the grade 8 transition guide, there are QR codes that you can scan to take you to these platforms for communication. Students will also receive their timetable for their secondary school in late August. As a parent, guardian, you will be able to see your student's timetable in the parent portal at that time. Schools have many transition events that occur in the spring and into the fall to ensure all students feel welcome and part of their new school community. Your elementary guidance lead will help you to keep you informed about these opportunities. One of Thames Valley's opportunities is High School Here I Come. It is a non-credit summer program for grade 8 students who are starting at a TVDSB high school in September of 2024. Students will be provided with a variety of learning skills and strategies designed to help them with their transition to high school. Some topics that will be discussed are the realities of high school, academic expectations and study skills, getting and staying organized, getting involved in the school community, literacy, numeracy learning skills, and much more. We know that this transition to high school can be an exciting one, but also challenging for many students. Once at high school, one of the best ways to meet people and enhance the learning experience and experiences at high school is by getting involved. There are many ways to engage at every high school in Thames Valley, from clubs, the arts, teams, and student leadership opportunities. Getting involved is a great way to meet people who have similar interests and create a shared experience. Throughout this presentation, we've highlighted many of the different resources and supports available to your student throughout their transition to high school. Here are the live links to each of the resources shared this evening for available and easy access through a PDF copy that will be provided. A recording of this presentation, as well as the PDF version, will be posted on the grade 7-8 website early next week for you to access all of these links.
We will now answer questions from the Q&A feature. Please note, we will not be able to answer questions about specific schools or situations. Instead, we direct you to attend your local high school's grade 8 family night happening soon and reach out to your elementary guidance lead and elementary principal. Please use the Q&A feature to submit those questions. We do have one for the team, and it's regarding out-of-area applications and how many plans can be created in my blueprint. And so can you create multiple plans to multiple schools if you're applying to more than one school out of area? And the answer is yes. My blueprint allows you to create plans for each school that you're applying to out of area. And we also encourage you to please complete your homeschool plan in my blueprint as well, just to make sure that all of your bases are covered and that those course selections do get in. There's a question about sharing the presentation with the links, and there will be a recording of this presentation posted on the grade 7-8 website that you can find the link to in the chat, and it will have all the links there as well as a PDF copy of the presentation with those links. We'll just pause for another moment or two just to allow those questions to come in. So a question about summer school before grade 9. So can you take summer school before grade 9 and reach ahead for those grade 9 credits? And the answer is yes, between grade 8 and 9. If your student would like to reach ahead and take a grade 9 credit, they're more than welcome to do so. Just maybe you'd like to come on to answer what the deadline is to choose classes as well.
For sure, yes. So the deadline may vary slightly from school to school, depending on when they would like it completed. But generally, the deadline is going to be early February. So elementary guidance leads may have a specific date that they ask for that registration to be in. So we follow each individual school because they may need a little bit of turnaround time to make sure they get all the approvals done in my blueprint in time for the board-wide deadline. So again, best to reach out to elementary schools, but generally it's going to be, they should communicate with you around the end of January, start of February.
And how do students register for grade 9 classes in the summer? Just very briefly.
Yes. So, with grade 9 summer school classes, and there will be numerous opportunities. A vast majority are online, but there are generally some in-person opportunities as well. That information usually gets posted to our secondary folks as well as our EGLs, and that will be in springtime. So when the information comes out about timelines and information for families, then the EGLs will be sharing that with our families to make sure that you don't miss the registration, and that if you would like to sign up. In the past, we've actually used my blueprint to be able to select our summer school courses. I imagine that's probably going to be the same process this year again, but that is usually in springtime, probably around April, May, when we'll be doing that.
Just really quickly too, we're getting some questions about out-of-area applications. And out-of-area application deadlines, I'll let you speak about in a moment. But if you would, you can apply to more than one high school for out-of-area, and you may not necessarily get into each high school that you apply out of area for. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's why we always recommend to make sure that you're submitting courses in My Blueprint for your homeschool as well. And if you're checking out transportation is not generally provided to out of area high schools. So that's not an option. It's up to the families to make sure that they can transport their students. So just generally about the process, Jess, and the deadline for those applications.
Yes, so our secondary schools as well as elementary guidance lead will have a form, an out of area form to complete. So you can ask that of the staff members. That process usually doesn't start until January. I'm going dark, just give me a second. You can still see me. So with the process, usually out of area is a little bit earlier, that those forms need to be in by February 1st, and the decision is a quick turnaround by the secondary school out of area application form. So you will know fairly quickly, within a week or so, about the applications, and if that application has been accepted, and then which plan to submit in My Blueprint at that time. But there is an additional form that needs to be completed, and it would be due by the start of February.
We're getting some questions about the open houses and how often that link on our website is going to be updated as information comes in. And so as we get information from our secondary schools, we'll make sure to continuously update those dates and times. And so some of those links may be pointing you towards the information from last year. As those websites are updated, that page will be continuously updated over the next couple months with that information, with the dates, times, as well as the slideshows and any other information or landing pages provided by those secondary schools. So if you notice the link might take you to last year's information, that's because those are being updated right now, and the dates and times will be updated on an ongoing basis. So we were getting some questions about sort of supports over the summer, if you're worried about your student success in grade 9, and what supports we have available both over the summer and once they enter high school.
So I can speak to a few of the supports, and Leanne and Rob and Christine, feel free to jump in anytime. So I think one of the most important supports and great opportunities for students is High School Here I Come. So I briefly chatted about that, and the information for applying for this summer isn't out yet. Again, that's going to be a springtime thing. It happens in August, and it's a great opportunity for students to go to their home school, the school that they'll be going to in September. They will have opportunity to meet other grade 9 students and see the school, know their timetable, get to check out the school and know exactly where their courses and classes are, so that they're really ready for day one and feel really comfortable with that process. So in my former role, I was last a guidance counselor at College Ave Secondary School, and I found that this was a really, really great program for our students. And often a lot of grade 9s that came in feeling nervous and scared, but that process, a High School Here I Come alone, really helped make that first day and the first week such a much more smooth process, and they really, really appreciated being able to be part of High School Here I Come. So I would say that that's probably one of my biggest tips and support of students. Some schools may also offer independent tours, especially in or around with our LSTs and special education departments. So those are really important opportunities as well for students to be able to come into the buildings early. Some of those tours may happen in the springtime as well as over the summer. And many schools do offer spring grade 8 visits, which often are led by leadership students at the high schools that you're going to be going to. So again, great opportunity to connect with some students, some older students, secondary senior students that really help kids to feel comfortable with that next step in their journey. So those are kind of a few that I would speak to. And again, there's other things like summer school if we're reaching ahead on credits. And then there may be some other summer opportunities as well around some tech camps or art camps. Depending on the school, they may offer different opportunities for students.
So we're also getting some questions about what the day looks like at high school. So just very briefly, so each school has slightly different start times, but the schedules are generally the same. So you'll go through a number of periods throughout the day, moving from a course to course and teacher to teacher. So some schools start, let's say, at 8 and go to 2:30. Some start at 8:15. So that's one of those questions to take a look at those individual schools that you're going to maybe be applying to or be going to. Just to check out the daily schedule. And we are getting some questions about like if that school is full. That's why always choosing courses at your home school. That is the school that you're guaranteed to have space in. And so making sure you select the courses that you would like to take for that home school is very important. And I'm just taking a look. Those camps that Jessica was mentioning are generally for 8s going into 9s, but there are also other camp opportunities as well, which will be on our websites. And just maybe you could speak just briefly about what are elective courses and how many students can take in grade 9 and how that sort of opens up as they move through high school, just very brief.
Yeah. So elective courses are kind of a great way to tailor your own learning experience at a high school. So in grade 9, they have 2 elective courses. And every school offers a variety of different courses depending on what the school is able to offer and the expertise of the school. Many are like a tech, several different art credits. We kind of listed a few there already. And again, it varies a little bit school by school, maybe some business courses and family studies. In grade 10, students have 3 electives. So again, 1 extra, so a little bit more tailoring of their high school experience. And then in grade 11 and 12, it's really interesting. That's when like students really get to kind of focus in on their education and where they want to go. So in grade 11, it's 6 electives. And then in grade 12, really most students are required to take English because they need 4 English credits to graduate. And then after that, the rest are elective courses. Of course, we do encourage students to take grade 12 math, and then also all the rest would be elective credits to really, again, tailor where they want to go in the future and tailor their pathway.
And just briefly, for those specific questions about what is offered at each school and the difference in programming, we do encourage you to reach out either to your elementary guidance lead to help you through that process, as well as the out-of-area process, and also to look at the information nights of those secondary schools and attend those info nights, so that way you can get all the information about the specifics of those programs and what that looks like as well. And just last kind of big global question that we seem to be getting in the chat is around community service hours and when they can start collecting community service hours after they graduate grade 8 and kind of how they can submit them and generally in broad terms, what's eligible to be counted as community service hours.
Yeah, perfect. The great part is the second a student is done grade 8, so like July 1st, then students are able to start recording those hours and counting those hours towards their high school 40-hour graduation requirement. And so that's why there's the hard copy form in the guides that are being sent home and can be printed off online on our grade 7-8 website, as well as our high school planner. There is a digital copy which could be printed, or you could also reach out to your elementary guidance leads or the high schools. They can provide you with hard copies as well, if that's the best method. It is digital and editable, so you could download your own copy and edit it right on your own copy. And those then get submitted to the high school guidance department. My suggestion is that students submit them as they're going with hours instead of keeping it until they have all 40 hours, because sometimes if we misplace those forms, then we misplace those hours. So it's really important to just try to submit them as you go along and to keep accumulating those hours. So yes, it can get started as early as July 1st. And then I would say on hard copies, those get submitted to the guidance department of the high school. Probably could submit them in September when you begin, and then ongoing after that. there is a feature in the parent portal that allows parents to submit those hours online up to the first 40 hours.
And I'm just taking a quick brief.
Oh, can I also, Leah, there was one other piece to that question. On the back of the community hours form, we've added a list of eligible and ineligible activities so that parents and students can look at that list to kind of generally find out, is that going to be, does that qualify? And really community involvement is around giving back to the community in support of the betterment of community. So often students, maybe if they're not paid for things, but it could be helping out at a senior's home, and it could be helping out at a library, part of a community program, leadership opportunities in their community, and sometimes it's around volunteering, whether it's with an official organization such as like Big Brothers Big Sisters or other organizations like a Humane Society. But generally, students, again, it's for things that are volunteer, that give back to community, and that are not paid.
And then just quickly, just to clear up something that might be just a little bit confusing. So the question is, did the presentation say you could only submit one selection or course registration from one school? If so, how does this apply with out-of-area school requests?
Yeah, that definitely can be confusing because for grade 8s, they're able to make multiple plans in my blueprint and pick different courses at that school. So it doesn't mean that those courses have been submitted yet, though. Like you can have multiple plans sitting there with different courses for different schools. But once you've picked, or it's been known that you, let's say, are picking an out of area course of study, or if it is at your home school, that's when you submit that very one plan. You can have multiple plans sitting in the background, but only one of those plans can be submitted.
Just a really quick question about if your student is on an IEP in grade 8, will that be carried forward to grade 9? And yes, that IEP that's in place in Thames Valley will carry forward in grade 9. And there'll be transition meetings and times to meet with learning support teachers and student success teachers and learning support teachers from the high school to make sure that transition is smooth. And then just one other question, and then I think we've answered kind of all those big questions. And it's for people who are looking in grade 9 and 10, and they're seeing the de-streamed English as an option and then locally developed. And so they're asking when university, et cetera, starts. And so university, college, workplace pathways start as course options in grade 11. So you will not see those in your grade 9 course selection. Grade 9, as mentioned, is a de-streamed program. So you will notice only those options there for that. And then I think this is probably a good one to end with as we go into this last slide, is will there be a recording of today's session? Because I feel like I need to listen to it slowly and take notes. So I think that's the perfect segue into the last slide. And thank you everyone for your questions in the chat.
So we hope this evening has been helpful in starting the journey for your grade 8 student. Remember, local high school grade 8 family nights are happening soon. Please check out the list on the grade 8 family nights on our website. And thank you for joining us this evening. And we look forward to working with a wonderful group of grade 9 students coming for September 2024.